What's up, everyone? I'm here today with the Allen Heath Avantis Console, and I just wanted to go over a little De-Esser plugin that is available. I think this opens up when you buy the D-Pack. I'm not sure if it's available without the D-Pack, but it's a great little feature that I'm actually just kind of discovering. I had this board at our church for a few years, actually, I'm sad to say, before we discovered it. But there's actually a couple different ways you can do a de-essing type of a deal on the Allen Heath. And we'll start with the actual De-Esser plugin. So this is actually an insert. This is an insert, but it's on the effects rack. So if you go to effects, it can be set up on the effects rack. So you can see here, I actually have a de-esser on insert 1, as well as 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those are my several de-esser slots. The first one is on this handheld over here. And the way it's set up is in dual mono. So if you flip to the back of the panel, there's two ways you can set this up. And initially it's in a stereo mode. You can see there's basically two sides to it. But really on a microphone, you only need it to be mono. So the way it works is you select dual mono, and then you can choose which channel each one is assigned to. So in this case, the first channel of the de-esser is assigned to the handheld mic, and the second channel is assigned to the passer mic. And so the way that works is over here, you click the de-esser, and this left side is the handheld mic, and then the passer's mic is on the right side of the same plugin. And I have the same thing set up on each of my lead vocalist mic is the left side of this one, and then the vocal 1 would be the right hand side of this. So that's kind of how that works. And the way the de-esser itself works, you can change the frequency anything from 3K to 8K. Really, a lot of de-essing happens kind of between 5 and 8K really. So that 6K may be a sweet spot. However, the way I have the effects set up is after everything else. So you could always go back to your EQ, the PEQ, and see where the S's are happening. So for instance, I'm going to talk a little bit. Check, testing, 1, 2, 3, test. So mine is kind of in that 5, 6K area. And so then if we come over to the de-essers, you can tell it's really coming alive there. You can set the amount of reduction. You can very minimal reduction, and you get this kind of sound. Testing. So you can see as I can get more of a reduction the further I go up on the max, minimum to max, kind of like a threshold basically. And then you have the response time, how fast it's acting or how slow. Generally, you want it to be pretty fast, but you can dial this in basically on each vocalist. Now, the problem is this takes up an effects slot. So if you have basically 12 effects slots, that means in this case, we're using our effects for other things as well, such as like reverbs and delays and choruses and different things. So it all kind of depends on what else you have going on as far as effects. But in this case, we had a few slots open. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots as a de-esser, and that gives us actually 10 because of the dual mono thing. So at 5 times 2, we got 10 de-essers. Now we even had a couple extra mics too that are not on that de-esser. So what we did, this is like an alternative way to do a de-esser. There is this very nice thing called the Dyn8, which is a multi-band compressor as well as a dynamic EQ. And so you have a couple different ways of getting another type of de-esser. So what I did on this dynamic EQ is I inserted it in the same area on this other keys vocalist. On that same insert B, after all the compression and EQ, you put the de-esser, in this case it's the Dyn8. And it's a dynamic EQ, and so you have several different bands. In this case, I'm taking the highest band, and I'm making it really wide. You can adjust, how far, where you want it to start. I'm having it start somewhere in this 5K range, which is essentially the same type of thing that, the de-essers typically do. And then you can set the threshold on, how far down you want it to come. But anyway, this just gives you an extra level of control of another de-esser. You can use this dynamic EQ on a lot of different things. The other thing I use it for is to side chain the bass from the kick drum so that the kick drum, I'll just show you really quick. Here's another example of how you can use the dynamic EQ on the bass guitar. We have the low band getting externally keyed by the source, which is the kick drum. So every time the kick happens, the bass ducks a little bit in that frequency and then comes right back as soon as the kick is gone, which sort of helps them to blend very well together. Anyway, that's a different discussion for a different day. So the dynamic EQ can be used for a lot of different things, but one of the cool features is you can use it as if it was a de-esser. So if you do happen to have more vocalists, then you have effects slots open on your effects rack, then you can use the dynamic EQ as a de-esser. So anyway, I hope some of this was helpful today. It was kind of a game changer for me once I figured that out. And I don't know why we didn't do it sooner. I guess, that's why I'm trying to share the knowledge, because it might be a hidden gem that you could start using on your live sound. And even if you don't have an Allen Heath Avantis console, you might be able to use a similar feature on another console. So thanks for watching today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I do have a website, Jonathan Stevens Music, and there you can reach out to me for any kind of sound consultations. Maybe I could come to your church. Maybe I could just do a phone call with you to help get set up better in your church's situation. But go ahead and check out my website. I also teach piano lessons, and I have tutorials and all kinds of things you can check out there as well. But this is a quick video to show you the DS feature on the Allen Heath Avantis. If this video was valuable, go ahead and give it a like and consider subscribing to this channel. I'm going to be posting a lot more live sound and production type videos on this channel. So thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next one.